All right, everyone, let's begin the session. My name is Pétur Þór Sigurðsson, and I'm the Product Director for the Omnichannel Development here at LS Retail. And I would like to welcome you to this webinar on how to deliver a seamless omnichannel customer experience. Now, some practical matters before we begin. Now, this is a webinar, and therefore all participants are muted. We will have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So if you have any questions that arise during the webinar, please don't hesitate to write your questions in the question panel as we go along, and I'll answer them at the end of the session. This webinar is also being recorded, and we will publish the recording shortly after the session, sending a notification to all the registered attendees. But before we begin, I also just wanted to say, or quickly to say thank you to all of you who visited our stand at the NRF conference last week in New York. It's always great to make new acquaintances, and of course also it's always good to meet up with familiar faces again. So we at LS Retail, we had an excellent conference, basically setting a very nice tone to the beginning of the new year. And with that in mind, let's get started. So let's start by explaining what is omnichannel, so we're absolutely clear on that. Well, omnichannel in my view is, or omnichannel retailing is the art of seamlessly accommodating all the various paths to purchase, meeting the consumer's increasingly particular demands and making all your retail channels work together. Now, omni as a word means all, and this term omnichannel reflects on the way today's consumers take their own paths to purchase. And this can be through any of the retail channels that the retailers offer. This might be through your brick and mortar stores, but it could also be through any of the ever-increasing number of virtual channels, such as your online representation, mobile, and social networks. So why are we here? Why are we seeing this paradigm shift in retail? Why is providing omnichannel retailing a necessity today? Well, this is all of this is triggered because of what we might call the new consumer. And allow me to introduce the new consumer. This new consumer is, simply put, the most demanding consumer that we have yet. This new consumer, she wants things done her way, precisely when and where she wants. She won't accept excuses. Either you provide what she wants, or she'll simply find another retailer that will. This new consumer decides what she's going to buy at the price she likes, and it may not be even through one of your stores. It may instead be on your website, over a marketplace, or a mobile device, through a social network, or even by way of one of your selling partners. So this new consumer also demands that your products are available day and night over any one of your channels and through any one of her devices. And if we talk product delivery, you must be prepared to allow her to pick up her orders in the store which suits her at the moment, but she is also quite likely to ask you to ship the order to her home, to her office, or to a secure locker at the train station. And while you're at it, you'd better be quick, because competitive delivery times are constantly getting shorter and shorter, even to the point where an overnight delivery is not considered quick anymore, as many companies are now delivering products within a few hours if you live in a major city. So, in short, what we have here is the most educated generation of shoppers to date. This generation is not only tax savvy, they have simply never known life without being online. So the notion of not being able to take the smartphones out of their pockets and get instant access to the information they seek This simply isn't in their mindset. And that's exactly it. Smartphones and other mobile devices have become deeply integrated into their lifestyle, and their shopping experience is no different. This is a generation that doesn't just show up at the store to find out what's available for purchase. They use their smartphones to make the purchase. And if they do show up at your store, you can be certain that they've done their homework and know what they came to buy. So let me reiterate. This new consumer demands that your products are available day or night over any one of your channels and through any one of their devices. And it's very simple. If you as a retailer cannot fulfill this demand, then the new consumer will simply go elsewhere. So how does this information lead itself to best practices for retailers? How can we enable retailers to deliver a consistent and a personalized omnichannel customer journey? Now, what I've done here is that I've gathered a few tips and discussion points to share with you. Tips and discussion points that will assist you in dealing with this new consumer. So let's start with the first one. And the first topic for discussion is ubiquity. A relatively new buzzword in IT and retail, meaning being present and being constantly there. Now, what I mean here is that the store is no longer the only place to shop at anymore. The consumer now expects to be able to approach the retailer through multiple touch points, your store, your e-commerce platform, through mobile, through social. And since mobile phones are of course everywhere now, and because of responsive websites and mobile apps, the store needs to be available, always present and always accessible anytime, anywhere. So therefore, the very first tip I want to give you is to improve the mobile shopping experience. As we know, web browsing isn't just done from a desktop anymore. The modern consumer is constantly online through their mobile phones. And in fact, this is now an absolute necessity. People not only browse on their mobile phones now, they do indeed make purchases on their mobile phones. So if we look to the UK over the last holidays, over 50% of all online sales were done on a mobile device. So improving the mobile shopping experience is indeed now an absolute necessity. And what you also need to provide is a shared shopping cart across all channels. Customers today want access to a single cart to shop across channels and to be able to reach their cart via any device, whether it's the phone, the computer, or even when they show up in the store. And further, customers want the ability to start anywhere and finish anywhere with their shopping cart. Indeed, shopping is now what we might term as an end-to-end experience that begins whenever and wherever the customer starts previewing an item and does not necessarily end at the same place. Today, we see shoppers incorporating some and sometimes even all of the retailer's touchpoints into their decision process. Perhaps discovering an item on their smartphones, fully investigating it and comparing it to other products at home on their laptop, and then going to the store to actually get a feel for the item or trying it on before committing to the purchase. And what's more, your customers, they want to be able to return items anywhere as well. Buying online and being able to return in the stores is now the standard practice. So your software solution cannot view the channels as disjoint silos, but must rather maintain a centralized repository of transactions. So your shopping history, regardless of the channel where the original purchase was made, is available on all of the channels, facilitating seamless returns between channels. And if you really want seamlessness, you include omnichannel payments into your business as well. Payment service providers, or PSPs, they now increasingly offer what we term omni-channel payments. What that means is that they allow the same payment service provider for all of your shopping channels. And what this facilitates is that each card authorization is now accompanied by a token representing your credit card that was used in the transaction. And we store this we store this token centrally along with the original purchase. So when items are returned, we can simply make a refund to the original card, massively simplifying the whole return process. So this is exactly key now in omnichannel retail. You can start your purchases anywhere, you can finish them anywhere, and you can return them anywhere in a seamless omnichannel fashion. And this brings me to the key point to take away from this topic, which is that you must have consistency across your channels. It pretty much speaks for itself that if we are to share the basket between channels, being able to return between channels, then everything must be uniform and consistent across the channels. How we do cart calculations, how all prices are handled, all discounts are handled, coupons, loyalty points, gift cards, etc., etc. Basically, all data must be everywhere, and all features must also be available on all of the touch points and channels, which indeed is the key element of omnichannel. Now, we as consumers, we simply don't accept anymore that less data is available at any one touch point. Let's say that the details are only available on the e-commerce platform, but not available in the store. We have a discount offer that's available in the store, but never to be found online. We have multiple images available on the e-commerce platform, but not on the loyalty app, and onwards and onwards. And not to say the least, if we experience different pricing per touch point. Now, studies show that one of the key ways to increase customer loyalty is to keep this consistency across channels. And since it's now pretty much common knowledge that it costs nearly 7 times more to acquire a new customer than it does to keep an existing one, then this, or in light of that, this is something you should really focus on. And speaking of loyalty, the second topic that I would like to address revolves around loyalty and personalization, or the need today to know your customers and approach and engage them accordingly. Now, we all know the added benefits of having a state-of-the-art loyalty program associated with your business. But what I want to address here is how knowing your customers, providing excellent personalized service, and utilizing the technology available today, and how that can greatly help to increase sales. And the first thing I would like to mention for this topic is digital personalization. Now, we all know that in the stores, sales associates are an integral part of the necessary personalization, offering relevant recommendations, and offering in a nice context. And with the onset of mobility, modern technology, and retail trends, we are starting to expect the same type of personal interaction when shopping online. However, recent studies indicate that there are big service gaps between the personalized attention received in the store and the personalization available online. So in my mind, retailers will need to continue to look for opportunities to merge the digital and physical retail environments to personalize the shopping experience and satisfy the customer wherever they do decide to shop. So what I'm referring to here is again this need for consistency across channels. Your loyalty information, all the perks that are associated with your loyalty account must be available online. you must have access to your personalized offers and coupons. And your customer stature based on your tier in the store's loyalty program must be available online. Your specific prices, etc., etc. Everything that revolves around your personalization. And also, personalized recommendations must be available online as well. And this is where we tap into services provided by Microsoft's recommendation engine, Cortana, which uses machine learning to crunch on data, retail data, provided by our solutions, and in return provides meaningful personalized recommendations for each and every shopper based on the current context. Now, that might be which items they are looking at right now, which items are currently in their shopping carts, and of course, taking into consideration their previous shopping and browsing history. And we can then display these recommendations on all of our channels, complementing the recommendations provided by the excellent staff in the stores. But the key element of being able to provide digital personalization is, of course, to be able to identify the customer. To identify or to engage the customer is key to enhancing the customer shopping experience, whether online, via mobile app, or in the store. And to engage with the customer, retailers need to be able to identify the customer. And therefore, as I view it, it's imperative to identify the customer as early in the transaction as we possibly can, and of course, at any given touch point. Now, this initiates the dialogue and sets the foundation for the relationship building. So what I mean by that is that what we are after here is that we want to change the sales pitch when you come to the store from "how can I help you?" to being able to identify the customer and suggest interesting items, coupons, and personalized discount in a proactive manner. So changing from "how can I help you?" to identifying me and saying, "Welcome, Peter. I see you like golf. Did you know that we just received a large shipment of golf apparel?" So change into being proactive. Also, identifying the customers as they enter the store via their smartphones, beacons, or other technology affords the retailer the opportunity to personalize the customer shopping experience. Once the customer is identified, understanding her profile, location, and even current environmental factors such as time, weather, traffic, etc., etc., enables the retailer to communicate relevant and contextual messages, all based on, again, meaningful recommendations provided by Microsoft's Cortana recommendation engine. An example would be a woman walks into a fashion store. There are beacons, location beacons at the entrance. The system immediately knows who she is, and based on her shopping and browsing history, and also on the weather, we can recommend, let's say, warm clothes during the winter and colorful summer dresses for the summertime. And this has many implications and many usages. So let's say in the context of a coffee shop or a convenience store, where we are in the context of hot and cold drinks and even ice cream. So these recommendations could also be all based on the weather and the shopping history of the customer. Now, in these examples, I've been mentioning iBeacons, and what they offer us is, in fact, geolocation. Geolocation is one method retailers utilize in the store to understand where the customer is and automatically provide messaging based on gathered customer insight. Now, geolocation uses a combination of indoor location-based technologies, such as using iBeacons or sound waves, low-energy Bluetooth, etc., etc., as I said, a combination of those and the customer's mobile device to transmit the location of the customer within the store. And this information can then be utilized to send promotions or information based on the proximity of merchandise or displays. And last year, many retailers did test the waters with this, and the expectancy is that we will start to see more of this in the mainstream now in the very near future. So the way this works basically is that a company places a beacon of some sort at a certain point in the store, and when the mobile phone walks by, or someone holding a mobile phone walks by one of these beacons, the mobile phone or the app on the mobile phone will pick up on that it is in proximity to a certain beacon. The app on the mobile phone will then send this particular location to the central server for the LS Retail application or for the LS Retail solution. And then the LS Retail solution can take into consideration the identity of the person, the exact location in the store, recommendations, personalization elements, and reply with, as I said, a personalized, meaningful recommendation or message. All setting the tone for, let's say, for the element of providing excellent service. One example of this is to place beacons at the entrance of a store, just as I discussed previously. So that would then, my mobile phone would then immediately realize that I walked into this particular store, and the message on my phone might be, "Welcome, Peter, today we have this on offer, and here are your personal recommendations for today." Another example might be what is termed now in-store remarketing. In-store remarketing is online marketing displayed to customers who have browsed in a physical store but not purchased, which is a data point that's often lost to retailers. So what we have here is using beacons or some other location sensing technology along with customer identification to create personalized marketing content. So how this works is that, and this has effectively been tried out at Macy's in the handbag section, then they did experiment with placing beacons at every single high-priced handbag in the store. And through this technology, they could then sense if a certain woman stood sufficiently long in front of a particular handbag, then that would clearly indicate that she was interested in that handbag. And then if she didn't commit to the purchase within a certain time limit, they would send out advertisements, coupons, etc., for that specific handbag directly to her mobile phone. And this could very well translate to other elements of retails. For example, I like to play the guitar, and with this technology, a music store could very easily pick up on whether I'm spending more time in front of the Fender guitars or whether I'm more of a Gibson guy, and send me marketing and coupons and offers based on what I'm truly interested in. And this has many other interesting implications and usages. This can also be utilized in the grocery section to send relevant recipes when you walk into a particular section of the store. Let's say a steak recipe when you walk into the deli section of a supermarket, just to name yet another example. All right. So the third topic for discussion goes even further in ensuring this seamlessness between the physical stores and the virtual channels, and revolves around how we facilitate this merge between the actual stores and the let's say e-commerce / mobile realm, and how everything works together to create an engaging experience for the customer. So let's start by looking at an interesting trend, or an increasing trend also, which is that we are increasingly seeing that shopping does indeed start with a search. It used to be that retail was all about location. Of course, it still matters, but what also matters is the virtual location on search engines. How easy it is to find your store when a consumer Googles something related to your brand, your stores, or your products. Now, we are seeing that fewer customers now visit the retailers' websites directly to search. Instead, they rely on generic search engines such as Google or Bing to begin their research. And therefore, it's absolutely critical that your search engine optimization is up to scratch. And what's more is that this doesn't just drive e-commerce. This actually gets consumers into local stores. We have a recent study on local search behavior, and this study reports that almost 50% of consumers will visit a store within 1 day of a local search on their smartphone. And in that same research, we have many managers claiming that up to 90% of their customers start their journey online, but then buy in the store. And this change in consumer behavior is creating dramatic new realities in the world of local retail, because it not only changes the mindset of consumers as they walk into the store, but this also changes the actual foot traffic patterns. We are seeing this with studies of the Christmas or the holiday shopping, where the results indicate that we are seeing way fewer visits to the stores, but still sales are rising. Even to the degree that for some it seems that the value of each store visit has actually doubled. And how come? How might that be? The reason is that it seems that the consumers, they are visiting less, but when they do visit, they are way better informed about what they want when they enter the store. So each trip is indeed more purposeful, and they simply buy more. Also, for the next part, if we look at how technology is indeed changing consumer behavior, we can see that smartphones are really becoming the new in-store assistants. And this is, of course, in gratitude to our constantly connected world, that we've all become accustomed to instantaneous answers and a wealth of information right at our fingertips. And not all retailers have translated this well into in-store experiences. And it seems that shoppers are increasingly frustrated by the lack of in-store information. Many people claim that when they visit a store, they can't find the details they need while visiting the store. And many, as a result, seem to be turning to their smartphones to fill the information gap, and may even prefer to use their smartphones to find additional information on the item rather than to ask a store employee. And to add to this as well, it seems that smartphones are really helping to merge this merge digital retail with the traditional brick and mortar type of retail. If I'm allowed to quote the Senior Vice President of Marketing for the outdoor retailer Ray, Annie Sipfel, then she says, quote, "The consumer has never been more informed, and that information comes from their phones. We love it when someone enters the store holding a phone saying, 'I want this tent, I want this bike, help me find this.'" And indeed, according to Annie, this is a perfect example of digital and local retail, how they can come together to make the sale. The next thing I'd like to address is the digital showrooming. And showrooming describes basically what happens when omnichannel shoppers walk into a retail store to touch and feel a product and then comparison shop online for the best price. Now, as you realize, this can be very costly for retailers and has normally been frowned upon. But in my opinion, showrooming doesn't have to be such a bad thing. For well-prepared retailers, showrooming can be a massive opportunity because the more consumers who enter your stores, the more opportunities you have to sell products. What you have to focus on, though, is the sales conversion, the processes and the process of converting shoppers into actual buyers. So with regards to showrooming, your focus points should really be on the visual appeal of the merchandise. I mean, you have to rearrange your store along with promotional displays in a way that it really entices the customer to buy. Successful sales conversion always revolves around having the right product in stock at the right time when the consumers are indeed shopping for it. And also you must focus on intelligent assortment, space, and floor planning. In other words, you should try to maximize the selling space to enable higher selling with increased profit margins. And last but not least, of course, perhaps the most effective way to convince shoppers to buy is to provide great customer service. And indeed, there is no better place to provide great service than in the store itself. So train your staff well. So the takeaway here is, at least from my opinion, is facilitate showrooming, but do indeed turn it into your advantage. And the last thing that I wanted to mention here is the context of endless aisles. For those unfamiliar with the term, endless aisles describes a technique for extending store assortments by offering merchandise not available in the store to shoppers through online visibility to the entire product portfolio. Now, this comes in many shapes and forms. It can be to allow for click and collect order to a store that does not stock everything you want to pick up at that selected location. It can also be to allow a customer to finalize a sale in a store for items not on stock in the actual store. So let's say you're in a fashion store, you find a pair of jeans that fit you perfectly. The store only has your size in black, but you wanted them in blue. No problem, you can finalize the sale in the store and the business simply ships the pair of those blue jeans you wanted from their warehouse or from an alternative store location right to your doorstep. And finally, also as an alternative to the scenario with the blue jeans, the customer could just as well have just opened up his or her loyalty app, scanned the barcode for the jeans, changed the color to blue, and finalized the purchase through the smartphone right on the shop floor. So indeed, there are many options to cater for the die-hard shoppers who increasingly have stopped accepting that an item is simply out of stock. So the key point to take away from this here is that if you are to successfully merge the digital shopping with the physical shopping, then you must provide the consumers with feature-rich mobile apps and responsive websites. And as I have numerously stated, the modern shopper is on the go when making purchase decisions, hence your mobile touchpoints must be up to scratch. All right, so up until now we've been viewing this omnichannel world from more of the customer's perspective, but let's now take a look at this from the retailer's point of view and how we can achieve this with a one-stop shop, complete omni-channel software solution. And what we can see here on this slide is one representation of LS Retail's key product offerings. We have LS1, LS-NAV, and LS First, all based on different vertical support and customer size. And then we have in yellow LS Omni, providing the omni-channel mobility and e-commerce support to all three of them. Now, these solutions, combined with our enhancement modules of LS Insight and LS Recommend, serve the purpose of enabling retailers to offer these seamless omni-channel experiences that I've been discussing in this webinar, along with the added benefit of cutting cost and limiting the time spent on routine tasks. Now, what I'm referring to here is the ability of the solution to automate as many manual processes as possible, such as the manual calculation of shipping costs, the manual handling of shipping out items, and also cutting the cost by, for example, eliminating license fees to third-party service providers. And we can skip that because basically all the key modules needed are included in our solutions, whether it's loyalty support, gift cards, e-commerce, app support, etc., etc. And also through our LS Insight and LS Recommend components, we are able to help you taking cost-effective and timely decisions for your business when it comes to, for example, assortment planning and replenishment. So in a short webinar, we of course haven't got the time to do a deep dive into our solutions. So I fully encourage you to visit our website, lsretail.com, to learn more about our solutions and what they can do for your business. Our representatives will be more than happy to walk you through a detailed demo of each of these solutions, explaining their full feature set and of course the included benefits. And last but not least, the last tip or the last discussion topic that I wanted to address is the need for retailers to follow the trends. One must not underestimate the trends in retail today. Consumers, they are notoriously quick to come to expect the availability of a certain retail process and will expect your stores and brand to follow. For example, one really important competitive edge trending right now is how fast and how cheap you can ship. Not only do today's consumers want multiple fulfillment choices, but they want those choices to be fast. It used to be that 2-day home delivery options or same-day in-store pickup options were categorized as premium options. But now, as I mentioned earlier, businesses are even offering deliveries within a couple of hours, providing you're located in a major city. So retailers must frequently ask themselves if their shopping methods are competitive. No consumer will wait a full work week if they can get the same products elsewhere within the day for the same price. So to take away from this one is that following the trends is surely a trend you should follow. Now, before we go into questions, I would like to draw your attention to LS Retail's main annual event called Connection 2017, which we will host in lovely Madrid, Spain. Every year, we at LS Retail, we host a major conference where we invite our solution partners, our customers, our prospective customers to experience what our solutions have to offer, as well as to form indeed connections with other businesses and also our staff. So I encourage you to join over 500 fellow customers, managers, directors, marketers, partners, developers, and more at our event of the year. There will be 3 separate tracks with focus on our products. So you are in prime position to experience our products both in the form of presentations as well as getting a hands-on experience in our expo area, coupled with a discussion with our product marketing and sales experts. In my opinion, a prime opportunity that we encourage you to utilize. So it's on to questions. I'm going to open up the question panel. And I encourage you to type in questions if you have any. At this point in time, it seems that some of you, specifically Jed Sullivan, has been experiencing some audio issues. But please, we have a few minutes more, so please, if you have questions, please type them in, and I'll try my very best to reply on the spot. Okay, so all right, so we have some questions flowing in now. So I'm going to approach them. We have a question from Alvin Nivas. Which LS Retail solution would you recommend for a brick and mortar wood flooring store? And the answer to this one would be probably our LS NAV solution, but we always quantify the business at hand before we recommend which exact LS Retail solution would be adequate or would suit that business. Alvin is now writing a more detailed question dealing with contractors, designers, and homeowners. So Alvin, I would encourage you just to approach us through lsretail.com and explain a little bit more about the size of your business, how many stores you have, how many point of sale is needed, do you need a full ERP support, or are you only looking for a point of sale system? And our experts will be glad to select or quantify your business and match it with the appropriate retail solution from LS Retail. Then we have a question coming in. How can we try out the Omni solutions? And a very good question. You can through our website. Go to what we call the download section for our apps. So all of the Omni solutions that we offer, whether it's the e-commerce solutions or the mobile apps, the mobile point of sale, etc., etc., you can download all these solutions to your mobile phones. And And basically these apps, they connect to a demo environment that we host in the cloud, so you will be able to see them in action and stepping through the processes that that they offer. And how to do this is explained on our homepage on our website, lsretail.com. We have Carsten Lorenborg asking how many of the Omni touchpoints are LS able to support today. The touchpoints that we support today are, of course, the stationary point of sale, which is the traditional point of sale found in the store. We have the mobile point of sale, which we equip the sales associates with. So they can use the mobile point of sale to provide excellent service and close the transaction on the shop floor. We also have a mobile inventory solution for the inventory processes found in the store. And then customer facing, we have e-commerce and we have mobile loyalty apps. And I categorize those into the same family, as they are basically offering the exact same feature set. One is just on an e-commerce platform and the other one is on an app platform. And on the app platform, we support, of course, iOS, Android, and Windows. So the loyalty apps would be apps that we would rebrand for each and every retailer. So you would effectively be downloading the Adidas app or the IKEA app with all the LS Retail entities and elements incorporated into the app. Then we have a question from Naveed Iqbal. Is Dynamics CRM a part of your solution? What is so different? No, Dynamics CRM is not a part of our solution. We have what we call a member management subsystem, which is the way that we handle our loyalty contacts in a similar manner as CRM. So in our member management module, we are able to drive the loyalty aspect of the business, creating personalized and generic campaigns, which then flow out to each and every one of the Omni clients. Then we have a question, can we use Omni to connect our existing web shop with mobile POS? Not quite sure how you would want to connect a web shop with mobile POS, or at least the mobile POS. But what you can do is that the interfaces or the entry point for our e-commerce solutions into our Omni solution, that entry point or that API is available for third-party web shops. So each and every retail element that we offer through Omni is available for third-party retail platforms or third-party e-commerce platforms to consume. So we realize that businesses might have e-commerce platforms that they are not ready to switch out yet, or might have just recently implemented. So we offer you the API, or offer you to utilize the API, so you can have built or have someone build all the LS Retail entities into perhaps an existing e-commerce platform. And Jens, furthermore, I think he's rephrasing the question, which solution can we then use when we need an integration with an online shop? Of course, you need LS Omni to provide the API that I just mentioned. LS Retail by default supports the Magento e-commerce platform and the NOP Commerce or NOP Commerce platform. Those are two different platforms. One is on Linux and the other one is on the Microsoft Web Technology Stack. And as I said, both of those come as shelf products from LS Retail with all the LS Retail elements incorporated into them. And then, as I previously explained, you can, through the API previously mentioned, get all the same feature sets or all the same feature set into a third-party platform. Adib Khan asks what would be the difference in 2LS NAV versus the other ones. And as I partially explained earlier, it's about which verticals you are dealing in, and also the size of the business. So we would really prefer that you would contact us through our website, and so our experts can assess what or which solution that we offer would be a good fit for your business. Adib Khan also asks about business intelligence and the LS Insight enhancer that I spoke of earlier in the session. That is exactly our BI module. So we have that covered. All right, this exhausts the question list as it is right now. So, as I said, I encourage you to simply go to lsretail.com and contact us through there. We'll be happy to explain our solutions, see which solutions are a fit to your business, and do a detailed demo and walkthroughs of what we have to offer. So that would be my heartfelt recommendation for you. Also, if you have further questions, please don't hesitate to ask them again through our LS Retail website. And with that in mind, I thank you very much for your audience. As I said, this session has been recorded, and we will publish the session a little bit later and send the link to all the registered attendees. So my name again is Pétur Þór Sigurðsson. I'm the product director for the omnichannel development at LS Retail, and I thank you very much for the audience today. Have a nice day and take care. Bye-bye.